Hey bag makers, I'm Sarah Lawson from Sew Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining me for Sewcial Sunday, my weekly sewing chat. Hey everybody, happy Sunday. Welcome so much to Sewcial Sunday. I see Dana's watching. She says, hi everybody. Audrey's watching from Ontario, Canada. Cynthia from Chicago. And Lori is also watching. She says, hey, Sew Sweetness squad. So Danny will be joining me in just a second. We are going to be doing a live giveaway for an upcoming Minikins Season 3 bundle. That doesn't come out till March 21st, but we have been doing a few giveaways. So we'll also have a giveaway for the same bundle at the end of the show. So if you're watching the recording later on in the week, don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. But if you're here watching live, go ahead. If you already have not left a comment, you can tell us where you're from. You can just say hello. All comments on Facebook and YouTube will be counted, and when Danny joins me on set in just a second, we'll draw a winner, or perhaps before he gets over here. So I'll give you a second to get your comments in. I was checking weather.com this morning because I've been checking it every couple of days, and I noticed here in Chicago we're due to get 3 to 5 inches of snow tomorrow, and I the snow just disappeared over here a few days ago. Took about 2 weeks to melt, and now we're getting some more. So hopefully it's the hitting the ground and melting right away kind of snow, but we'll see. I don't see any more snow the next couple of weeks. So hopefully this is the last one for this season. So, all right, on to the live giveaway. Danny, what numbers am I choosing from for the giveaway?
52.
1 through 52. So we'll go with 32.
1 through 20.
1 through 20. 2.
2.
All right, Shirley from Oregon is our live giveaway winner. So Shirley, if you could email me after the show so I can get you set up with your prize, which is coming out next week. And my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H. And again, congratulations, and thank you so much for watching Sewcial Sunday. I'm going to write your name down over here just in case. Awesome. Hello, Danny. Danny's going to be leaving us again near the end of the show.
No, I'm not.
You're not? Oh, you got everything set up?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Couple things I wanted to talk to you about before the sneak peek. I know a lot of you are excited for the last 6 projects sneak peek from Minikins Season 3. That'll be a little bit later on in the show. A few things that I wanted to share with you. So first off, I finished my cross stitch yesterday. I took a 2-week break, so it's been a longer project, but this is the first cross stitch I've done that was more realistic. Some of the other animals that I've cross stitched in the past were like sort of fantastical colors, and they had sort of like paisleys and flowers on their bodies. So thank you again for entering, Shirley. Yeah, I was really excited to finish it, and it looks really almost 3-dimensional. Like if I squint, almost looks like a real horse. So I'm looking forward to putting this on the wall with the other cross stitch projects. I don't know, I might, even though I kind of altered my setup for working on the cross stitch, it's still sort of like my hand kind of stiffens in this motion, that I am holding the hoop. Yeah, cramps when I'm holding the hoop. So I don't know, maybe I'll continue to make adjustments. Some of you emailed me some tips, which I took, and they were incredibly useful. One tip was to get one of those, I'm forgetting the name now, I think it's called a boppy. It's sort of a U-shaped pillow that a lot of mothers use for either babies when they're learning how to sit up on their own, or for nursing. So I've been using that, as well as the sort of this lap stand, which was also emailed to me as a recommendation. So those are both super helpful, but I'm still kind of worried about my neck, so I'm trying to take it easy with the cross stitch. A reminder, you still have a couple weeks to enter the March challenge. There's a link in the description for the challenge in case you're interested in reading more about it. And in order to enter, you just need to submit a photograph of your finished project in the link. You're welcome to, of course, post the project in the Facebook group as well, but the entries that will be counted will be the ones that are posted in my link. So check the description for that link. I missed that comment that you put on the screen.
Try without the hoop.
Try without the hoop? Oh.
No one says try, I like Q-snaps better instead of the hoop.
All right,
Another comment.
I'll write those 2 things down. All right. Thank you for those recommendations. Last few weeks, I've also been reading some of your letters about how sewing made my dreams come true. So I wanted to read another letter for you tonight. This letter's from Megan Doherty, and it was a really exciting letter. So here goes Megan's letter. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to be a writer. And when I first realized I could make people laugh with my writing, I wanted to be a humor writer. My glorious sci-fi epic novel, Galaxy Invasions, which I started writing pretty much the very moment I finished watching Star Wars for the first time, quickly evolved into an epic farce to rival The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. If there was an assignment for school that allowed a little creative freedom, I would make it funny. I wrote comic radio plays and puppet shows, and a comic op-ed for every high school newspaper when I was the assistant editor. But I was taught in many ways that humor writing was beneath me, that to pursue such a thing would be squandering my talents. So as I got older, I kept making half-hearted attempts to become a serious writer, and she writes serious writer with a capital S and a capital W, which were abject failures. It was easy to tell myself I didn't really have any talent after all. Shortly before I turned 40, I decided to start sewing and thought it would be a fun exercise to blog about the process of teaching myself to sew while wrangling two precocious children. I didn't worry at all about what the writing was supposed to be. I just wrote in my own voice, sardonic, snarky, and often satirical. The bitchy stitcher was my path to the writer I always wanted to be. Learning to sew and accepting all my mistakes, heck, embracing those mistakes and using them as blog post fodder, cemented for me that making people laugh with my writing is not beneath me at all. It's something I will always aspire to. I submitted one of my blog posts, a mock quilt binding tutorial, to a quilting magazine, and not only was it accepted, they asked me to be a columnist. I wrote quilt and sewing related humor for 2 magazines over 5 years and self-published 2 humor books. Those 5 years were the happiest and most creatively fulfilling of my entire life. I am currently working on my first novel, a romantic comedy with a quilter as the protagonist, and I have 2 more satirical novels in the outlining stage. Sewing was the path that led me back to myself, and I'll always be grateful for that. So I have exciting news. We're, for the time being, bringing back book club with a single book club entry, and the author is our own Megan Doherty. So Danny's going to put a picture up on the screen of this book that I've selected, and it's called Quilting Isn't Funny. We will be... One thing I wanted to note, I made myself a little note in my outline. So Megan's book is an irreverent take on quilting. So there's some colorful language and colorful imagery that is different from some of the other books that we've read. I feel like this book is sort of I would consider it sort of nonfiction. And so I just wanted to let you know if either of those 2 things tend to offend you, maybe this is not the book for you. But
If you put a rating on it, what would you guess the rating would be?
I mean, there's a few swear words, and there's there's a joking mention of a sexual instance, but it's nothing. I thought the book was funny. A lot of things in the book I read and I thought, yeah, that happened to me, or yeah, I did the same thing, such as making a bag and running out of fabric and having to sew together bits of fabric in order to have enough for the front of your bag, that kind of thing. So it's a short book, maybe a couple hours read. There's an ebook version as well as a physical copy available on Amazon if you're interested.
Is that you grabbing the physical copy?
That's me grabbing the physical copy.
Gotta grab life by the horns, or the physical book.
We will be, instead of having questions with my friend Tamara, hopefully we can do that later on in the year, have Tamara join us on set and do another book club selection later in the year. But I thought it would be really, really fun to talk to Megan on one of the live shows. So Megan, the author, is going to be joining us on the April 18th live show. So it's at our normal time, and she'll be joining us. We'll be discussing her book, and I'm really looking forward to it. I read this book years ago and thought it was fantastic. When we moved, I couldn't find my copy. I'm sure it's still in one of the boxes in the garage, but I reread it again and enjoyed it, and I felt like it was just what I needed to read a book and laugh. And so the link is in the description to Quilting Isn't Funny which you can find on Amazon, as well as Megan's Etsy shop. And there's a few occasionally Megan lists bags and pouches for sale. She's also got sewing themed t-shirts, and so check out both of those links. Charlie says you can't take life too seriously if people are going to keep referring to you as a sewer.
Sewer.
A sewer, yeah, that's true.
A sewer. That's why I read that as.
It's funny, I got a call last week, and sometimes we get calls, business-related calls from people not in the sewing industry, and they ask, oh, is this Sarah from Sue Sweetness or Sue,
Yep,
like a
she's
sewer?
a lawyer. She's suing them.
So
She's sweet at it.
different spelling, but yes, that's true, Charlie. So thank you for that. And thank you for sharing your story with us, Megan. And check out Megan's book, links in the description.
Sorry, comments like these will always get put on the screen because I love that.
Kat says, I love the HDness of your camera. Does that mean the crispiness?
Like crispiness, as you would call it, Sarah.
Yeah, we call it, I like to call it crispiness. Danny's second favorite part of the Sunday show, when he's on the show with me, we'd like to invite all the bag makers to stand proud. Let us know in the comments that you're part of the Sew Sweetness squad. We really appreciate you tuning in. It's been really exciting, especially during these Minikins sneak peeks, to have so many live viewers. And of course, later on, watching the recording in the week, we really appreciate the likes, shares, and comments.
Yep.
The participation. Obviously, we always have lots of people jumping on early to chat in the comments, both on Facebook and YouTube. So we really appreciate that, and
Absolutely.
thank you so much. All right, let's get over to your pick of the week.
Sure. My pick of the week is Kristen Hess. I believe it's called the Sewing Room Stand from Minikins Season 2. This pattern doesn't get as much love as I like. Maybe because I like tablets and I use technology, but I would use this in many places, including the bathroom and all over the place where you need to hold a tablet where you want to watch something. But I thought it was excellent sewing. It looks great, and I enjoyed it. So good job, Kristen.
Great job, Kristen. I love polka dots. I'm a huge fan of polka dots, so of course that my eye immediately went to the polka dots on Kristen's project. All right, so I'm going to do the sneak peek now. You said everything was set up so you don't have to disappear.
Boom.
All right, sweet. Yeah, it's technology sometimes pulling everything together, especially when he has to be on set every other Sunday, but you made it work. Good job. All right, so now the moment you've been waiting for, the sneak peeks of the final 6 projects in Minikins Season 3. I wanted to let you 2 things that I wrote down on my outline. So it's coming out on March. Kristen says, hey, that's mine. Thanks for watching live, Kristen. Minikins Season 3 is coming out on March 21st. So it is on the website, listed as out of stock. We will have plenty available for anyone who wants it, obviously because they're digital items, but it won't be listed in stock until March 21st. It just helps me, listing it ahead of time helps me get everything in order behind the scenes, because there's a lot of dots I have to connect as far as getting all the videos and patterns set up. So don't be alarmed. It is meant to be listed out of stock. Next Sunday it will be available. I'll be showing a trailer video on the show next Sunday, so you can see close-ups of all of the projects. Even though we've been showing the sneak peeks, I feel like it's helpful to see the insides, the pockets, everything that is included in each of the projects. And for the first 2 weeks, it will be $80, and then after the first 2 weeks, it will go up to $88. So yes, that's all I had listed on my outline. So I guess without further ado, Danny's going to put a picture of the first project, or I guess I can do that myself.
Yep.
This is the Percheron Pouch. It comes in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, and it's a train case with 2 separate zippered compartments. This one I've got here is size small. This was a really fun project. I wanted to make size small, not super small, so it would be an easier sew. And I feel like sometimes the smallest project is a little bit more challenging because of the smaller working space. I felt like this wasn't the case here. Small was just as enjoyable to work on as size medium and large. I guess I should, there's no pockets on the inside, it's just the 2 separate compartments, but I'll open up the top compartment so that you can see.
You tilt it towards the cameras. There you go.
All right, so the next sneak peek for the 7th project is also available in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large, and that's the Connemara pouch. A very quick sew. Usually I don't say that size small is my favorite, but I've got size small of this project in front of me, and size small is my favorite for this particular project. And I shared this fabric a few months ago on Sewcial Sunday, so I finally got to use it. Really love the fabric. There's two different styles of zipper pull for this particular project, either quilting cotton or faux leather, and it's just a fun, quick project to work on. This next project, we've gotten a lot of requests for a project like this. It's called the Pinto Stadium Bag. And even though people are, in general, not going to stadiums right now, I know they will be again soon. And so I wanted to include this project in the bundle. It's made with clear vinyl. The picture that I put up a second ago was also sort of clear vinyl, but it had an orange tinge to it. So there's no raw edges showing. Everything's enclosed with binding, which I use quilting cotton for mine, or if you prefer, if you're a fan of fold over elastic, you can use fold over elastic instead of the binding, and it has an adjustable strap. So I use 12 gauge vinyl for clear vinyl for this particular project. Let's see, there's three more. Number 10.
That would be number 4 on the new set, yes.
The Newfoundland Pouch, also available in 3 different sizes. It's got a fun accordion divider on the inside, so you can keep school supplies, sewing supplies sort of separate in 3 separate sections. I've got size large in front of me, and let me open it up so you can see the inside. So there's the accordion with the 3 separate sections, and they're all fully finished sections, so they're not, you won't be putting pencils on the inside and they'll be falling through to the other sections. They're completely separate sections, and all of the projects, besides the Pinto Stadium bag, the clear vinyl bag, they're all sewn right sides together. So no binding. The only binding that exists in any of the projects is a bit of fold over elastic on top of a mesh pocket. But as far as the finishing method for all the projects, it is sewn right sides together. 2 more left. The Fala Pouch, also in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. And this is a project for storing either art supplies, sewing supplies. I've got markers in this particular version, and this pouch is I have 2 of the large sizes of the project right here, and so it's sort of a convertible. The top section of the pouch can go up or down, and I've got this is size medium over here with all the markers inside. So this was one of my initial prototypes. I adjusted the interfacing on this project since I made this one, but as you can see, the top kind of goes up, and I have a note in the instructions for making the zipper tail different lengths depending on your preference. So I made one with a longer tail if you like to have something longer to hold on to, and I also made a couple with like a super short tail. I kind of personal preference, but for me personally, I like the super short tail. Lynn wants to know, can you put paintbrushes in it? I don't see why not. My paintbrushes, I was thinking about putting some paintbrushes inside, but I thought for this particular size, the markers would go better, but it's got a nice curved bottom, and I guess that's all I have to say about this particular project. There's an optional pocket on the inside in case you'd like to keep certain supplies separate from the rest of them. And last picture, this is the Hackney Pouch, also in 3 different sizes. It has a mesh zippered pocket in the lid, so I'll show you. I've got size large in front of me. Oh, I guess I'll wait till that picture goes away. A few more seconds, I think.
Is it stuck?
Tick, tick, tick. Is it stuck? Can we maybe...
Boom.
Thank you. So there's the mesh zippered pocket in the lining of the lid. And I pulled out, because the sizes, to me visually, I think each of the sizes looks quite different. So here's size small, and here's size large. Obviously there's medium in between. I don't have all the sizes in front of me, but
these are great for like games. This particularly I think would be great for a Nintendo.
I wonder if it would fit in the small. Would it fit in the small? Medium maybe?
I think there's a new version of it, and it's more handheld. portable,
okay.
so maybe it'll fit. But even that could be for like if you have like and people ask for like dice bags or to carry different to game nights.
Oh,
Those
okay.
would be great things with a mesh pocket and stuff that's also in there.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those sneak peeks of the other 6 projects. If you missed the first 6 sneak peeks, check out last Sunday's Social Sunday. You can find that either on Facebook or YouTube. And like I said, I'll be showing a short trailer video, a few minutes long, next Sunday when the bundle will be available. And we're super excited for everything to come out.
You want to hold it up one more time and go over the names because people asked in the comments about the names one more time.
Sure. This is the Percheron Pouch. And I'll hold these up again at the end of the show because this is kind of going to be the giveaway question. Connemara Pouch. Pinto Stadium Bag. This is the Newfoundland Pouch with the divider on the inside. The Fala Pouch is the one with the markers. And then the Hackney Pouch is the one with the mesh pocket and the lining. So we couldn't be more excited for these to come out. We've been working on this for the last, well, I started a little bit earlier than you because of designing the patterns, but last 9 months. So it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone makes from the patterns. So I'm going to be giving away a second Minikins Season 3 bundle at the end of the show. That will be for both live viewers and viewers of the recording, so stay tuned for the giveaway at the end of the show. In the meantime, if you have a question for me, either a sewing related question about a notion or tool, general bag making question, go ahead and ask your question in the comments right now. If you think of it, if you'll type a question mark before your question or type it in capital letters, it just helps Danny spot the questions from the comments. Before I get over to the questions, I wanted to announce the winner of last week's giveaway, and that winner is Scrappin' Goddess with a G-A-W-D, right? Right, Danny? Yep. So congratulations to you. Just email me anytime you see this recording, and I'll get you set up with your prize. And again, my email is sarah@sewsweetness.com, and that's Sarah with no H.
You ready?
Yes, I am ready. Kristen says, do you need tools to insert a grommet? I want to put one in a Metro double zip pouch to dispense dog poop bags. So that's a super great idea. It depends on what type of grommets. So I've purchased grommets for curtains before from Joann Fabrics, and these were rather large plastic grommets, and for those they just click into place, so there were no additional tools needed. I just needed to cut the hole in the fabric through all layers, and then they sort of just connect in place on either side of the fabric and click in place. I do have other grommets that are installed with my rivet press, and I have dies for those. I've also seen little handheld kits with grommets with little tools in them. So there's a few options as far as grommets, depending on how big you need them. I suppose if you'll be installing a lot, if you have a rivet press already, the grommet die for that particular size might be handy. Oh, there she is. There's our winner. Congratulations to you. I'm so happy you were watching live. Kathy says, what was the name of the edge coat paint set that you showed some weeks ago? Sorry, I couldn't find it. So I think a couple years ago, I demonstrated edge coat on the show, which is one product you can use to finish raw edges of cork leather or vinyl. The other one, which was from a few weeks ago, I demonstrated called Giardini paints, Giardini with a G. You can find that on my YouTube channel as a separate video tutorial. Between the two, I do like the Giardini paints a little bit better. I saw comments when we had that show that some people were using acrylic paints. I don't have any experience with that, but possibly another suggestion for you to investigate. And of course, always want to test on scraps of fabric before you start working on your actual project. Pam says, does the stand have something to prevent the tablet from slipping? So that's a great question. So Kristen's sewing room stand that was Danny's pick of the week from earlier, it has a little bump on the bottom edge, sort of like an elevated bump, and that's what the edge of the tablet will rest on so that it's not sliding off the stand. Hope wants to know, will there be SVGs? Yes, there will be. For the Minikins Season 3 patterns, there will be. SVGs, which are files for electric cutters. There will be projector files if you have a projector that sits on your ceiling and projects the pattern pieces. There will be AO files, which are large format copies that you get done at your local copy shop. And of course, there will be always be the traditional PDF pattern pieces that you print on your home printer. So several options as far as cutting out your pattern pieces from fabric and interfacing. Oh, lots of good questions. I see them. Oh, you post. Amy says next Sunday is the 22nd. Is it going to be available then? Did I get my dates wrong? Usually
No,
I Google them.
I'm pretty sure you said she might be in Europe or something. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. I should clarify. It will be coming out March 21st, local Chicago time, I guess, United States.
Central Standard Time.
Central Standard Time. I may post them a few hours before the show, depending.
If you're part of the Facebook group, you'll get a heads up.
Yes, I will. As soon as I post it for sale, I will post in the Facebook group. And of course, it should be posted by the time we go live on that day. Jan says, can the Pendle Stadium bag also be made with quilting cotton? Yeah, you sure can make this with quilting cotton instead. I would just recommend altering the construction a little bit if you want it to be a lined bag. Although I suppose you could also make it with pre-quilted fabric, but if you want the bag to be lined, you can sew your pieces. So for example, the front of the bag, exterior side to exterior sides, top stitch those first, and then that will prepare it for applying the binding. Kimberly says, where can we get the vinyl? So depending on where you live, I purchased this vinyl from my local Joann fabric store. Other big box stores, I'm assuming, should have it as well. The clear vinyl usually comes in several different thicknesses called gauges. I've worked with 8 gauge vinyl and 12 gauge vinyl before. I think possibly the 8 gauge might be a little thin for this project, as it is a bag as opposed to being like a little window on a pouch, but I did use the 12 gauge for this particular sample. Elaine says, how do I get these patterns? So they will be coming out on March 21st and will be available at sewsweetness.com, and the bundle includes all 12 patterns and all 12 videos.
That was the next question.
As well as all the extra files that I mentioned. So Retha says, yes, you get all the patterns it will be listed for $80 for the first 2 weeks, and then after that will go up to $88. Sarah says, the green floral fabric on the last pouch was so pretty. Do you know the designer? So this one was from, I know I posted it in the pages where the videos are hosted. I post all the fabric information. This one was from Cloud9 Fabrics, but I don't recall the designer off the top of my head. But feel free to email me after the show, and I'm happy to find the name of the designer, and I can get you a link. Jessie says, do you work with canvas material? I have begun to love it and make all my bags with it. So I noticed, I don't know if it's a trend or what, but I noticed tons of people using waterproof canvas, especially in the Facebook group. I think the projects look really great, especially if you like adding a little bit of solids in addition to your prints. Waterproof canvas is a great option. And especially if you're using it for the lining, it eliminates the need to use shape flex. Leslie says, do you have a design for an insert for a large bag purse? So last Sunday I left them up here just in case. In Minikins Season 3, one of the patterns will be a purse organizer. Comes in 2 different sizes. So this one is size, the smaller of the 2, it's petite, and there's a bigger size that's called regular. If you've made the Baker Street bag before, this petite size will fit in the Baker Street bag, and it's got lots of there's some accordion pockets on the inside, a zippered divider pocket. As you saw the mesh, there's more pockets on the other side. So plenty of pockets, and it's made in a lighter interfacing. I used fusible fleece, so it's not super heavy and fits nicely inside your bags. And I decided to do the 2 different size options. So if you had a small purse versus a large purse, you wouldn't have to just have the single size. There's a couple of options there. I'm gesturing a lot with my hands tonight. I don't know if it's because I'm excited about the sneak peeks or what. Betty Gruber says, I need to get my scissors sharpened. Who is the fellow you were so happy with for sharpening? So the website is called simplysharper.com. They have 2 different locations as far as I can recall. One was in Wisconsin, one was in Texas. You just choose one. the one that's closest to you, send your scissors and or knives off for sharpening, and they send them back to you sharpened. And when I last got mine sharpened, they sent a Band-Aid in case I got cut on my very sharpened scissors. Jennifer says, grommets only need a sturdy surface. If you don't have a sturdy surface, they won't attach right with the hand tools. That's a great point. Anytime I'm hammering something in, be it the snaps or whatever, you always want to have a solid, hard surface. I've tried in the past hammering it on my wool mats, and you really do need a solid, hard surface to make sure they're applied properly, as was mentioned. Rosario says, what kind of thread and size do you use for your bags? So I use Aurifil 40 weight thread. It's 100% cotton thread. You could use polyester thread as well, but I've been using Aurifil for many years already and very happy with the durability of the threads. Michelle says, how do you get all the wrinkles out of laminated cotton after birthing a bag? So that's a great question. So one thing that I usually do is I heat up a space on my ironing board. It doesn't have to be the whole board, just big enough for your project. So you first heat up the space with your iron. It can be helpful under my ironing board cover. I have a piece of tin foil which helps reflect the heat back up toward the project. So heat a little spot up. Place your fingers inside the project, whether it be a bag or a pouch, and kind of rub it over the heated spot, and that will help soften either the vinyl laminated fabric or the clear vinyl. The heat warms it, softens it, and should get the wrinkles off, and you might need to repeat that a couple times, but I find that that's always worked well for me as far as getting out those wrinkles in those types of fabrics. Kelly says, not a question, just a kudos to you, Sarah. After making 3 paladins at once, I could not help but be amazed and wonder at what you must have done to come up with that pattern. Yeah, that was a real brain teaser for me. Do you want to grab one of the paladins from behind you? Any size is okay.
Oops.
I did have to make a few prototypes in order to figure out, because this is the paladin. It's got just the single zipper at the top, and there's 3 different sections in the center. So there's the center section over here, as well as the 2 with the lining fabric. And I do have to carefully read the instructions every time I make this project, because the way it's sewn in order to get that effect, it's very particular. I know a lot of found the video helpful as well to follow along with the video while you're sewing that, but it's a short pattern I made. My mom helped me make a couple of years ago. My mom cut out all the fabric, attached the interfacing. I was making some gifts for friends, and then I just sewed them assembly line style. Robin said, I don't have a Teflon foot. What do you suggest to use on vinyl? So if you have a walking foot, you can use that instead. If you don't have a walking foot, you can try a bit of either painter's tape or washi tape on the bottom of your foot to help it glide over the fabric a little bit. But if you think you might be sewing with those types of fabrics relatively often, I highly recommend the Teflon foot. I use mine all the time, and they're relatively inexpensive to find online.
I'm going to give you time to make sure you have a drink of water.
Oh, thank you.
All right, that's enough.
Kathy wants to know, do you use a scan and cut or Cricut? No matter how careful I measure and cut, I am always off a smidge or 2. So I do have a Cricut Maker. I was reading some comments in the chat before the show and in the Facebook group that Cricut is, I think next week, not increasing their prices. I think after 20 uploads, they are implementing a
fee.
So by upload, I believe after you upload it, it stays in your account. So it doesn't mean every time you use it, you have to pay. It just means if you're uploading new files after 20, I believe. But check on the Cricut website for more specifics on that. How much fabric do you purchase when you seek cute fabric to add to a stash? A yard, I always overbuy or underbuy. So for bags, if I'm not sure on the project, I'll buy a yard. I generally am not buying lining fabric at the same time as exterior fabric, because I try to use up some monochromatic fabrics from my stash, such as in this project I use sort of like a crosshatch fabric. So I have similar fabrics in lots of different colors, and then I just pick something that matches my exterior fabric. If I am leaning toward using the fabric for a pouch, I'll buy a half yard. Once in a while, I'll buy a half yard if I like the fabric, but I'm not super in love with it, which means maybe a smaller project. But in general, I'm buying 1 yard if I'm intending it to be some type of bag. Linda says, how do you keep the bianni soft and stable to behave when sewing together with the fabric? So I know it sounds super simple, but what I usually do is I iron the fabric, make sure it's nice and smooth first. Because bianni soft and stable is not fusible foam, it's just sew-in foam, I place the fabric on top of the foam and then I iron it one more time. The thin outer layers of the interfacing kind of have a nap to them, so ironing the fabric on top of the foam, it's not going to stick like an adhesive, but it kind of, I don't know if it's static or what, it kind of clings slightly to the foam interfacing, and then I'll put wonder clips all the way around, especially in odd shaped areas. If the pattern has pieces sticking out on the side, I make sure I put tons of wonder clips, and then I just take that over to my sewing machine and I attach. I've seen comments in the past of people slightly cutting their foam larger than the fabric, or maybe both pieces, and then trimming to the correct size after attaching, but the former is what I personally do. Christina says, for Cricut, if you do not subscribe to Access, you are limited to 20 item uploads per month and no rollovers. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Christina, and that's for the Cricuts cutters if you have one. Teresa says, is there going to be an acrylic template bundle? So there will not be, just because it's difficult for us to track inventory if the acrylic pieces are all in a bundle, which we've done. We did that a few years ago for the first 2 Minikin sets, but we will have all of the acrylic templates available individually, and each of the 12 projects will have an acrylic template set, and each set will include all of the sizes. So if a particular pattern has 3 sizes, it will include all of the acrylics for all 3 sizes, and the acrylic templates are just for the pattern pieces. So if a pattern has pieces to cut out from squares or rectangles, those are not included in our acrylic sets. Are you calling it on?
No.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I thought I switched to the next one.
Debbie says, what thread do you recommend to make large bags such as a backpack or bags like the Aragon that will withstand the weight of what would be put in them? So even for bigger bags, I just usually use 1 line of stitching. I use my Aurifil 40 weight thread that I normally use. If you're a little bit concerned, you can always go back through, especially assembling the body of the bag, the front and the back to the side panel if it has one. You can always go back with a second line of stitching that's slightly a little bit further away from that first line of stitching, so kind of like a double stitch. But either of those options are fine. I usually just use the single stitch for mine. Lindy said, would 20 gauge be too thick for the clear bag? It's hard to say. I've personally not sewn with the 20 gauge vinyl before, but I feel like, especially with all the curves involved for this particular bag, it might be a little bit trying. So might want to try the 12 weight first and see what you think, and if it's not substantial enough for you, try the 20, but I don't know, it makes me a little nervous with that thickness. Oh, Carol says, what size needle would you use on the vinyl? So I use a 9014 Microtex needle on pretty much all the projects that I make. I do have a free video on my YouTube channel, different needles for bag making, and you can just search that video in the YouTube channel search box. Christina says the small Hackney will hold a switch light beautifully, Danny. So there's the answer about the small Hackney. That's this one right here. Teresa says, I always save the big vinyl bag sheets and comfort. Oh, that's a great idea. The big vinyl bag sheets and comforters come in. Would that be suitable for that bag? So I don't have one on hand to check the thickness. My initial thoughts would be it probably would work. Yeah, that seems like a good thickness for that type of bag.
Yeah, I would guess the same.
Christina says, I've seen vinyl with tiny holes like pour marks. Is that a sign of bad quality or is that common? So I'm not sure if you mean the holes are along the selvage. I've seen vinyl pieces where the selvage area has small holes in it. Generally,
it's probably where the machine, like winding it up, it's got like little needle teeth probably, I'm guessing.
It could be. Generally, the main portion of the vinyl shouldn't have holes. And vinyl is usually not self-healing, which means if you make a mistake and have to take out stitches, those holes will still be there. You might be able to get them to minimize by, same trick as with getting out wrinkles from vinyl, heat up a little bit of area of your ironing board, place the fabric right sides together with the ironing board, just the board to warm it up a little bit. Sometimes the holes kind of minimize a little bit, but they'll still be there. Jennifer says, if anyone is stuck getting clear vinyl, you can always buy a clear vinyl shower curtain. That's another great tip. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Paula wants to know, do you ever use PUL on the inside of a bag? I'm thinking the last one would make a great makeup case in small. So it's been some time since I have used that type of fabric. Years ago, I used it on the lining of some lunch bags. So I think that would be a good idea for the cases to make them wipeable on the inside in case any cosmetics or other items spill on the lining. Barb wants to know, I'm looking for a Mary Poppins style bag. Do you have something similar? So we have the Sheffield Tool Bag, which has metal frames at the top of the bag. It does have a lot of pockets on the inside and the outside, but if you don't need those pockets, you can omit them. One of the new upcoming Minikins Season 3 patterns has a metal frame in it as well. This is the Untitled Pouch, and I'll open it up so you can see the metal frame. This one uses a different size frame than the Sheffield Tool Bag, but they're both metal frames. As you can see, the metal frame's right here, and it makes the pouch open wide.
Cool.
Brenda says, do you carry edge connectors for bags? We don't, unfortunately, yet carry edge connectors. I apologize. Robin says, I'm getting ready to sew the leather hobo bag. What size needle do I need to use with the faux leather and cotton for the lining? So if you already have a 9014 Microtex needle, that one should be great. That's the one I would use. Henny says, do you have a half-size wallet pattern with at least 5 card slips and a clear vinyl slip for an ID? So actually don't. So I have the cork bifold wallet, which is a quick, about 10-minute project, but it doesn't have those extra, the clear vinyl slip for the ID. Could be added, but it's not currently in the pattern as is. Excuse me, need some more water. Susan Elaine says, will the small purse organizer fit in the Appaloosa bag? I know it will fit in the Baker Street bag. I feel like the Baker Street bag is a similar size to the Appaloosa, so my intuition says yes, it possibly will fit in the Appaloosa, the smaller purse organizer. Louise says, do you ever use a tailor's clapper in bag making? The ones with the bits that poke out corners, curves, and garments can be useful in bags, I was thinking. I do have, actually I have a couple different versions. One has a pointier end on the top and one is just sort of rounded. It's made out of wood and it's helpful for pressing bags or pouches because you get them hot, whatever area you're pressing, you get it hot with the steam from the iron, and then immediately place the tailor's clapper on top and it kind of holds that heat in there so it presses nicely, and also has those, some of them have those other points for sliding a bag on or getting edges that are smaller or corners of pockets, things like that. Carmen says, weren't you able to get a thin Teflon foot for the Janome 6700? I've not gotten a Teflon foot for the Janome because that machine I use for other things where I need different stitches, like a zigzag stitch. I do have a Teflon foot for my Juki, but if I were to be making a bag, I would make it on the Juki. Spotted Baronet says, which one of your new bags use the metal frame? So that's this one, the Andalusian pouch. This one right here.
There you go.
We're calling on the question.
Yes,
so I apologize if I did not get to your question live. I'll be back again next Sunday with a trailer video of all the projects, and the bundle, the Minikins 3 bundle will be available next Sunday. So thank you so much for watching and checking out the sneak peeks. We are so excited to share them with you. I do have a giveaway of one bundle of the Minikins Season 3 bundle. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is answer my question in the comments. I will draw a randomly drawn winner at the end of the day this Saturday and announce the winner on next Sunday's show. And I just want to know, type your answer in the comments. What is your favorite of the Minikins projects that I shared today, the last 6 projects? So I will hold them up again and say the names and just type your favorite one, the name of your favorite one in the comments. So this is the Percheron Pouch. And you don't need to spell it correctly. That's completely fine. This is the Connemara Pouch. Pinto Stadium Bag. The one with the accordion is the Newfoundland Pouch. What else? The Fala Pouch, one with the markers inside. And the Hackney Pouch is this one right here. So let me know in the comments which is your favorite. I'm looking forward to seeing what the consensus is, which one you liked the best. So I'll be checking that out after the show. So thank you so much for watching Sewcial Sunday. I hope you have a great week and happy sewing. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.